There we go.
Bam, over there. That. Fantastic. You got your stuff rolling, Aaron?
Yes, sir. Here we are.
All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with Mr. Aaron Shack because I wanted somebody who I know would have a lot of fun doing this. We are going to go through the nominations for the various awards for this year's Game Awards and talk about what nominations are available. What I like to do is look at the nominations, say who we think might win, who we think should win, and maybe even add in, oh, I wish this game or something had received a nomination. That's the way I like to play these things.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to start in kind of a reverse order of the thing, because I don't want to start in with Game of the Year and immediately just go to that and talk about that. Let's build up to it. So at the very last thing here, we have Best Esports Event. Now, I personally don't watch a ton of esports, but of the ones that they've nominated here, I'd personally vote for Evolution 2020 because I find Evolution really entertaining to watch. Due to the variety of fighting games, and there's also several fighting game announcements about new characters, new games, that sort of thing that comes out. What did you end up thinking, Aaron?
Yeah, I also did the same. I always enjoy watching Injustice and pretty much anything else they roll out with the fighting game stuff, and always seeing the new announcements is really cool. So I don't know, as far as like who I think might win, like I know League is huge, right? And so is Valorant. So I mean, but Evo is huge too.
I wonder about if this might be because the thing that I always think about is who has not received an award previously for some of these events, because sometimes you'll have carryover where something wins, say like two years in a row sort of thing, but when you have a new entry to the client, there might be a place there for them to, oh, they're the new person in the crown, they put on a really good show, let's give them some recognition. So I could see Valorant winning.
Yeah.
Personally, yeah, I'd like to see Evo win. That would be really cool if it did.
There you
go. Next up is Coach. This is another one where I don't know many of these people.
Sorry.
Like, we have 2 Counter-Strike coaches, 2 Valorant coaches, and 1 League coach. If I had to take a guess as to who might win, I could see like one of the 2 Counter-Strike coaches winning, because for my experience of watching competitive Counter-Strike is that coaches and like the interplay of the strategy of that game is very integral to actually winning certain particular matches. Like a lot of Counter-Strike is thinking about your positional advantage on the map and figuring out what can and cannot be done.
Absolutely.
So I
had no clue on that one. Yeah, there you go.
Let's go with that. Team, again, still a bit of a question there. I think it would be kind of funny if Thieves wins. I don't know if they're the same people as the 100 Thieves that have. Did you ever watch that video of the different competitive esports people showcasing their various gamer compounds of where they go and stream and make content?
No, I haven't seen that yet. No.
Oh, it's an interesting experience because it's people are very committed to what they believe in, creating these like spaces that, yeah, it might be fun to go do stuff in, but they're very much corporate boxes designed to pump out like content, and it's just like, there's this very big clash of emotions here that I find quite humorous to watch.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm Thieves, I'm not sure.
Thieves, yeah.
Athlete, who do we have? 2 League, 2 Counter-Strike, and a Valorant. Again, aside from certain fighting game competitors, I don't know any of these people.
Yeah, I would know the fighting game guys more than anyone.
And that's also surprising that there is no fighting game nominee in this list, because there has been in the past. Like I remember, Sonic Fox took the award. What was it? 2 years back or something like that, and then they end up presenting 1 year as well, I think. And it was really cool to see them win, because their story is really cool and they're just amazing at fighting games.
Yeah,
like they picked up Skullgirls for fun and like won the tournament.
Imagine like, that.
All right, Kay,
not taking it super seriously, and then just. Whereas when you pick up games like Injustice and Street Fighter and stuff, like you really gotta practice,
put your time
Mortal
in the lab
Kombat.
to figure out what's possible. I can see Faker winning it. I've heard that he's kind of still one of the best League players in the world right now, so I'm gonna probably give it to him. What do we have? Esports game. Go. Of this list.
Or how about read the description before we get into
Absolutely. It? For the game that has delivered the best overall esports experience to players, inclusive of tournaments, community support, and content updates, regardless of genre or platform. Which is the best overall esports experience, inclusive of tournaments, the sort of core community stuff, and content?
I feel like they're all constantly adding stuff, right? Like they're all be consistently updated.
I can see Valorant winning this one.
Yeah, it's just so popular and so new,
and like it's getting to a point now where, because I think League comes out with champions every, like month or so, where and it's kind of like, oh, there's a new champion out there, kind of an archetype of these two put together, because there's so many of them. Whereas Valorant's cast is still small enough that every new addition to the cast is a core change to the game of like, okay, how do you counterplay against that? Because they have all these aspects about how their character plays. So it's a constantly moving game of the meta being changed in terms of who is playing that. So I'd personally pick Valorant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boop. All right, what do we have? Anticipated.
Ooh, here we go.
All right, I'll let you start this off, Aaron, because and this is also an interesting selection of 5 as well. So what do you think?
Okay, and they're saying that this is demonstrably illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward. Which one of these is going to push gaming forward as a whole? Because like there's like ones I'm excited for, like Resi 4 and Starfield. Well, all of them actually in some respect. But like which one would just push it? The thing was, Breath of the Wild was such a shake-up for the whole gaming industry. So I feel like if Tears of the Kingdom does something new and something incredible, or takes the Breath of the Wild formula and just pushes it even further, we're going to have more people trying to imitate that formula over the next decade. So like that could be the one, but I also see Starfield could be pushing the envelope as well. Like Resi 4 is going to be, it's a remake. It's probably going to have new mechanics and new changes to the story here and there. Hogwarts will be a whole new experience. We've never really had like an open world RPG, Harry Potter type experience. And then Final Fantasy 16 looks dope, back in a medieval setting, looks really dark, which I think is really cool, giving us kind of a dark European medieval fantasy setting. And that looks really exciting. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with Zelda on this one for just being super hype and something that will push everything forward. Yeah. Like they're going to innovate.
I agree with you in that regard of if Tears of the Kingdom can do what Breath of the Wild did and push that medium further, there's going to be an interesting part there. The question that I have about that is, what's that clash against Elden Ring going to feel like? Because we're coming off how Elden Ring feels and is like, ooh, that's nice. I like the way this is designed and how this is put together. So Zelda, what are you going to do that is going to like come to like, again, they don't have to like meet Elden Ring on every level, but it's just like, what is your unique additional thing that makes the player think about exploring the world in a unique way? Because I think that's what Breath of the Wild did so well, is the wanderlust of like, what's over there?
Yes.
But what's over there? And you spend like 100 hours just wandering around in fields looking for things. And usually there is at least something over there.
Yeah.
I really want Starfield to be good.
I do.
Like, I really want it to be good. There's this piece in my mind that is just like, please deliver something that is fun to play. And more than anything, deliver a solid base that has enough content for us to keep entertained for about 100-200 hours sort of thing, but gives mod people the ability to go, all right, what can we add? Because that's what I like about Bethesda games, is like giving the nice baseline where it's just like the nice first course of a meal, and then the mod team comes in and goes, all right, what else can we add? We add this, we add this, we add this, and you build a new game out of the sandbox that you were given.
Absolutely.
For me, it's between Starfield and Legend of Zelda, and I think I'm gonna lean on Legend of Zelda more, because there is a fear in my heart about what Starfield is gonna be like. I want Bethesda to be cool and do cool things, but they have a reputation of the last couple of years that doesn't become of that.
Yeah, and 76 took a while to kind of like recover and spin things around and get more content out there. And I've heard they'd done a really good turnaround with that game. But
yeah, I've watched videos of people playing it, and there seems to be quite a bit of fun to be had there in exploring the world, and especially that interplay of interacting with other people and people almost making their own fun in terms of the roleplay aspect of playing a character in the world and like involving yourself in the storylines of other people and creating your own story from that.
Yeah. What's up, Jason? Welcome. We're covering the Game Awards here. We're looking at all the nominees. We're talking about who we think might win, and also Andrew here is casting his votes as well.
So, best adaptation, recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. This one, this is a new category for this year, and I think it's a great addition. And I think that the precedent that is set with some of these pieces really hopefully leads to more stuff like this.
Yes.
What did you pick of these 5, Aaron? Because I have mine in my head. But yeah.
All right. Let's see. So I've seen Uncharted and the Cuphead show. I haven't seen anything else yet. So I went with Cuphead because Uncharted to me was like, it was great, but it was like they were too busy trying to bring every Uncharted game into one movie.
Right.
And so to me, I was like, you have a young Nathan Drake, but you're also leaning in on Uncharted 4 plot lines. You had moments from Uncharted 3 happening on screen. It was just weird. It was like, were you setting up a trilogy, or are you just like, let's jam it all into one movie in case we don't get another shot at this?
Exactly. Give it.
So it wasn't a bad movie by any means.
Even from the poster, we have like, there's the element of the pirate flag from 4. He looks like Nathan from 3.
Yep.
And like Mark's doing like this interesting interpretation of Sully. So yeah, it's this interesting mish. I personally haven't seen it. I've heard bits and pieces about what it was like. Yeah, so yeah. Of these 5, I still really need to watch Arcane. Everybody I've talked to who've watched it, it's like, it's really good.
Yeah. And same with Cyberpunk. I heard a lot of good about that as well.
That's my vote, is Edgerunners, because one, the second I heard that Studio Trigger was going to be the ones to do this, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's the studio you pick, because Trigger knows how to do action at a really high octane level, and then also add emotional stories in there. I haven't properly sat down to watch all of Edgerunners, but the pieces that I have watched of it, it's just like, wow, this is a perfect, and again, faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. They got the spirit of what Cyberpunk 2077 is, but without treading on the game's storyline toes. It is a companion piece. It is a story that runs in somewhat parallel to the story of the game and exists in the same world. And you see, especially with updates to 2077, you see pieces flow into each other, but it is its own story with its own set of characters, and they have their particular adventure. And there is this overall theme of questioning what you want to be remembered for and all that is a core part of 2077. So I'd personally put it to Edgerunners of the best one of this set. But yeah, I really enjoy this new category, and I hope that we see more nominations for this in the future.
Oh, absolutely. And the other thing I'll note is it did catapult the sales for the game.
Oh my god, it's helped so much. Like, it lifted the game, because I've been streaming the game and showing it to people, and the general vibe I get from people is that people know almost next to nothing about the game other than it was a failure at launch and like was a buggy mess. And it's just like, no,
and
like,
it's had that turnaround.
It had some problems, and like, it was a real rough. Believe me, I beat the entire thing on PS4. It was rough. But you're missing out on probably one of the best told stories of the last couple years. And to like, no, you need to just see the game and enjoy it, because it's really fucking good when it's running at maximum. So yeah, again, thank you, Edgerunners, for helping lift Cyberpunk out of the hell that it was in.
Oh, absolutely. I think that qualifies on all counts.
All right. Debut indie. Best debut game created by a new independent studio. We have Neon White, Norco, Stray, Tunic, and Vampire Survivors. I don't know what Norco is. Do you?
No, I don't either. Can we look it up?
Sure.
Kind of get an idea here.
Let's have.
I know Neon White is like a card game of an action.
Yeah, it's like a card action shooter game. Okay, so Norco is Looks like read the oh shit, this actually sounds pretty cool. Now that I'm like reading the description here. Let's pop open a new tab here. Reading directly from the thing here, Norco is a text-based point-and-click adventure that is immerses the player in a sinking suburbs and industrial swamplands of a increasingly surreal and distorted South Louisiana. So
interesting.
Yeah. I'm getting a bit of Disco Elysium vibes.
I like that.
Like interest, like story in location that is not going well, and your choices about how you deal with the situation are gonna change things around. Wow, this
I'm wish listing that as we speak.
Yeah, and that's Raw Furia's publisher, who Raw Fury's kind of in the same tone as stuff like Devolver, where they put out those really kind of interesting, unique pieces. Yeah, that I have never heard of this game, but the aesthetic of it is very cool.
I dig it.
Yeah. Yeah. Of these, which ones have you played, Aaron?
I've played Stray and Tunic.
I've heard Stray is really good. Like people were very happy with, and it was also a thing of like Stray is just like, all right, here's the game. Like there's no need to wait for patches, nothing. Just like go have fun, go play.
It was ready. There were no problems, no issues.
Yeah. And have a fun adventure.
Took the internet by storm, as well.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like the launch week for Stray is just like everybody's like, this is good. Like just full stop. This is good.
We all agree. We were like, this is something to play, not to be missed.
Yeah. I can see Stray winning this. There's a piece of me that kind of wants to see a Vampire Survivors wins, because it is it is such a like one person against the world, because I think it's built by one person, and it's just like they built a new style. Like it's not necessarily new, but it's this weird mix of, what if you took a bullet hell, but then instead of the bullets coming at you and you have to avoid and then shoot back, it's like you are the bullet hell producing, but your enemies are so numerous that they will chase you around and eventually at some point enclose upon you. And it's just like story and substance. It's just like, that's not really the focus here. The focus is make a game that is really fun to play, and the loop of getting to that next level and powering up your character, make that the greatest source of dopamine you can possibly engineer. Like that is Vampire Survivors' design document, is like, make a game that is so much fun that also is, I think, $1.
Oh wow.
So
no excuse to not try it out.
No excuse not to try it out, because like price of a coffee, or like lower, not even a price of a coffee in certain situations, to play a game that you could potentially play for dozens of hours. Yeah. So I think of this list, I'd love to see Vampire Survivors win. I don't think it will. I think Stray will win. Of that set. Yeah.
Tunic for me was really interesting though. I think that's who I ended up voting for, even though I think Stray will have it.
The one that I'm surprised is not here is Scorn.
Oh.
No mention of Scorn.
Yeah.
Now I know some people are kind of a little iffy on the final release of Scorn, and like it didn't fully fulfill what some people had envisioned it to be, but I've heard from other people like Erica, who was like die hard, like I will not stop until this game game is released sort of situation, she was very adamant about like, it's good. Like it delivers on what it was supposed to be. And like you show me some pieces from Score there, and it's
I saw that.
They ain't flinching.
Yeah, it was. Woo!
They know what they're trying to tell you, and they ain't flinching.
No.
So yeah. Content creator of the year. For a streamer or content creator who has made an important and positive impact on the community in 2022. I will be truly honest and say that I don't know who Carl Jacobs or Noboru are.
Yeah,
I know who Ludwig, Nibelun, and Cutie are. Yeah. I don't know who these two people are. And it might be a thing of like their audience is completely different to my common viewing habits.
Same.
I think that's just kind of the general thing. If I were to pick somebody from this list, I think I would pick Nibble.
Yeah.
Because from my understanding, what Nibble does is that basically every time there has been like rumors about something, you pull up Twitter, you scroll down, you find Nibble. It's just like whatever Nibble says is probably going to be right, like 90% of the time. All right, thanks, Nibble. Click.
Yeah.
So, and I believe Nibble is retiring from doing content creation and moving on to different things. So I think it would be a wonderful swan song to give the award to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
That'd be my focus of there. All right. Best multiplayer.
Oh.
What are your thoughts about this list, Aaron?
This is wild. This is all over the place. So we got Call of Duty, the latest one, which I'm having a lot of fun with that. We got Multiverses, like arguably the best fighting game I've played in years. It's like, it's the DNA of Smash with everything WB owns, from Scooby-Doo to, you know, the Justice League to Game of Thrones, you know, Adventure Time, all that stuff. Really great game. Took the world by storm. I think it was like 10 million sales in the first week. Then you got Overwatch 2, which I think is a little lacking. It just kind of came out with the PvP. PvE's not ready yet. A lot of the same maps, same characters. They brought in a few new ones, and then they had some issues, and they had to remove some characters and make it to where you can't. So they're going through a little rough time, but I feel like Overwatch 2 is not delivering on the level I expect from a full-fledged sequel. If I had to pay $60 for that, I'd be pissed. But it's free.
Overwatch 2 wasn't free, that there would be like fires in the streets.
So it's more of an Overwatch 1.5 right now.
It's 1.5. Yeah. Like if you look at their Twitter account, it literally says Overwatch, but with a 2 this time.
And then there's Splatoon 3, which I know is a big deal. I haven't really played any of those, but I know it's huge. And then there's TMNT, which is one of my favorite games of this year. 6-player co-op, beat 'em up. It's by .emu, the makers of Streets of Rage 4. So this is their next game that they've done here. And this game, it's got the retro nostalgia of all the classic Turtles games jammed into one. It's everything you'd want. You can play as Casey Jones. You can play as April O'Neil and Splinter. So they've got the 4 Turtles and those characters. I'm willing to bet we'll hit some DLC at some point as well, because that's what they did with Streets of Rage. You could like play as some of the villains and, you know, new modes and whatnot. But it's so hard when you're like ranking that one next to all these other great multiplayer experiences,
because they're all very much different multiplayer experiences.
Very different.
Where this is 5v5 team, this is like competitive, sometimes with like, what is it, up to pairs?
Yeah, it's like 2v2 or 1v1. Yeah,
1v1 or free for all with 4. COD's all over the map, and COD just got its Warzone 2 finally just launched. I haven't heard what the current state of it is and how big that download is.
Oh, it's like 100
Warzone 1.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Splatoon is again team where, and then Turtles is like up to 6 people in co-op. So yeah, you're very much all over the map. I'll be honest, I have not put time into a single one of these games. I've thought about putting time into Overwatch 2 because I really enjoyed my time with the first game.
Multiverses is free to play, by the way. Yeah, so 2 of those are free to play, and Multiverses you just play to unlock characters.
I think that's a perfect way to do a fighting game progression system if you're going to do a free to play game.
I agree.
I think that's perfect. From everything that I've heard, personally, I want to see Turtles win.
Yeah,
I think that would be really cool. Like, I think just the genuine care that they put into like making a game that is fun to play with as literally as many people as you could fit on a potential couch. Yeah. I think that is the spirit of what best multiplayer is.
And it runs like a dream. So
there you
gorgeous.
Go. There you go. Next, sports or racing game. I personally have not played any of these games.
Forza Horizon didn't make it on there, and that's the only one I play.
Yeah, that's the only one that I really watch content for, because I watch lots of videos of people doing modifications to their cars and doing like custom wraps and skins on their cars and just making fun content with it.
Pull up that Ollie Ollie world.
Sure.
Just to give us like a
visual of what it looks. I'm kind of familiar with what it looks like. Grab that. Pop it over here. Oh, this looks...
Yeah, right?
This looks kind of cool.
This is unique. This is fun. Whereas the others are just kind of the next entry.
They're very,
just another FIFA.
Like sim sport environment. Like, you are playing this because you enjoy this particular sport or cars or stuff like this. Ollie Ollie has more character.
It does.
Like, it has a very particular art style and vibe that it is trying to illustrate. Yeah.
Also, pull up Rollerdrome. I'm surprised that got the snub, man.
Rollerdrome. What the fuck?
Yeah. Show the people Rollerdrome, because
that's one of my biggest things about. But I don't know if I've ever looked it up to see about what the deal is for the Game Awards of like, do games have to come out in a certain time frame to receive nominations, or like, is there a cutoff to how many nominations there can be for a certain game? I got a date here again. Yeah, Rollerdrome. When did Rollerdrome get announced? It was like it was Summer of Gaming, right? It was during like Jeff's show in July.
So it's very fresh.
Like, and again, to do something that looks, I would call Rollerdrome aesthetically very rotoscoped in its art style. Yeah. To do that in this day and age is a very particular artistic choice.
It is.
Yeah, so
this gets my nomination.
Hey, that's I think that's completely valid. To say like, yeah, why like give it to Rollerdrome? This looks way more interesting than GT. Yeah, I guess of this list,
I like Ollie.
Ollie. Yeah. All right. Next up, we have sim or strategy. All right. Here's where I got to go on a rant.
Yeah, let's do it.
So This has some nice set. I've heard Spice Wars is a lot of fun. Warhammer 3 is like a nice addition to the trilogy of the Warhammer Total Warhammer games. And I believe Immortal Empires has been released, and they're slowly going to build up to that thing of the Total Warhammer games cascade into each other. So if you make purchases, if you bought 2, some of your stuff from 2 rolls over into 3. And eventually, the idea is that if you were to buy all of it, which is a lot of investment, but if you really wanted to, you could literally have access to every playable race in the Warhammer Fantasy zone. The one that's missing here, that didn't even get a nomination, is a little game called, pull up my name, Chaos Gate Demon Hunters. Shoot. No nomination for Chaos Gate Demon Hunters. Now, I get it. There's already a Warhammer nomination on the list here.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. You only want to do one at a time. However, I'm going to say I still haven't finished Chaos Gate because it's pretty tough overall. But as a emotional, spiritual successor to XCOM, this does a very good job of delivering that turn-based tactics feel.
Yeah.
And it does a great job of, I'm personally a huge fan of both the Grey Knights, who are your playable faction, and the Death Guard, who are your opposing faction. It is a great game that gives both of those sides justice. The environment feels really good. The music is good. Like, it hits all the points along what a turn-based tactics game in the 40K universe should feel like. And I thought Mechanicus was the be end all of that, of just like, that's the pinnacle. You can't reach higher. It's just like, well, maybe like Mechanicus still does stuff that I find is better than Chaos Gate Demon Hunters. But then Demon Hunters does like environmental stuff where you can knock over pillars to kill people. You get a continuously upgrading system. You watch the world get more corrupted with Nurgle infestation. Like, you feel the tension in it, delivers on that XCOM tension of one bad turn leads to this entire planet being lost. So don't fuck it up. Like, just, you gotta play good. And like, your guys are going to get hurt, and we might lose a couple people along the way, but it's about make it through to the end so that we can win this war. And it delivers on that. And I don't believe, I guess the only one that is, I think, a turn-based tactics game, because Spice Wars kind of plays like a combination of, I think, like Civ and a couple other games.
Mm-hmm.
I think 2 Point and Victoria 3 are more like grand world building strategy games. The only one that's a turn-based tactics game is the Mario Rabbids game. Like, which Mario. I've heard the Rabbids games is great. Like these games are fun, but it's just like, Chaos Gate Demon?
We need a 6th nomination. They really should have thrown Chaos.
And it's weird because some categories have 6, but others only have 5. It's weird.
Yeah. So Chaos Gate and Roller Drome, could have been in here.
Add them to their things. If I was gonna vote for something, I would say probably Spice Wars, because I'm just happy to see Dune get games. Yeah. I think we are on the track of rebuilding the hype and the excitement around the Dune universe, because of the film and the second film that's going to come out soon. Like, I think there's a lot of build to just like, hey, Frank Herbert designed a really cool universe. Let's go explore it.
Well, and we have a new survival game
Yeah, that's being made by the Conan devs.
Yeah, and they're great. I love Conan.
I'll talk a little bit about Conan a bit here because I've been playing a whole lot recently.
Oh my gosh,
it's been fun. All right,
they've
best family.
So all right.
Which ones of these have you played?
Negative, none. Well, I have Nintendo Switch Sports. I just haven't.
You got sports. Haven't done it. The only one that I've actually played is Skywalker Saga.
Yeah.
Would I really say it's the best family game? No, because the thing is, it's more nostalgic for people of my age who grew up playing the Lego Star Wars games as a kid. Like, it is more nostalgic for somebody like me who played Lego Star Wars 1 and 2 when they were younger, and you play this and it's just like, holy shit, this is what, like, 1,000 years of dev time and, like, what the technological jump is between basically 2008 and 2022. And it's just like, holy shit, we've come so far.
Oh yeah.
Like, we've accomplished so much technology-wise. Like, Skywalker Saga is a blast to play, and you could literally play it for like 1,000 hours with how many goddamn collectibles the game has.
Yeah, and they keep adding DLCs of like literally every show, every movie is in there.
Yep. It is designed to be the be and end all Star Wars Lego experience of like, hey, you want to play anybody? Here you go.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that might win just based on the robustness of what they've done with that.
Yeah. Of these, I'd vote for it. I don't think it will win. I think if I had to guess, it's either going to be Kirby or Splatoon.
Yeah.
And I think that would be my guess.
Says Nintendo Switch Sports or Splatoon. Yeah, those are like, obviously the Nintendo ones seem really like those would be the pick when you're thinking family game.
Let's see here. Best fighting.
It's fighting, okay.
This is an interesting set because 4 of these are traditional player versus player fighting games. But then you have Sifu, which I still have not played, but really want to because I really like Slow Cap's combat system because it's real good.
It is really good. And it's an evolution of the last one. What was that game?
Absolver,
yeah. It's an evolution on that.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you the Sekiro feel as well, you know, the blocking and deflecting type stuff. And the dodge system is really complex. Like, not only do you have to press the dodge button, but you also have to move the stick in the direction that you want your character to dodge. So if a left-hand punch is coming, you want to dodge right, you got to push to the right. Multiverses to me is just the best thing that came out, and just it took the industry by storm, and a lot of people thought it was going to be another mediocre thing because the Nickelodeon game came out and it was just kind of meh, and it's still like $20 or something. Like, it's still out there.
Yeah, where
around.
Multiverses is free to play and has full crossplay across all systems. So no matter who you are, you can play with somebody else. It's
a weird category. It's weird that they've mixed in so many different things.
We're also in a weird year right now where whatever the next MK or Injustice is still in development. Street Fighter 6 doesn't release until next year. Yeah. I think. Yeah. Tekken 8, I think we're on Tekken 8 now. I can't remember. I can't keep track of which number Tekken we're on. Got shown off, and it looks really cool. Like, because I feel like Tekken games are always visually impressive games just because of how much time they put into the animations and the quality of them. But yeah, we're kind of in a weird span of we're waiting on more stuff. here's a question. When the heck did Guilty Gear Strive come out?
Oh, I'm not sure. If they give the snub here.
Okay, Guilty Gear Strive was last year, but they've just been adding more characters, so it makes sense that it wouldn't be on this list. I think it was on last year's list, and I think it might have won. Yeah. I agree with you. I think Multiverses should win.
Yeah.
Like, of this set, I think it is the most interesting fighting game.
I think Sifu probably should have been included on the indie list.
Indie list? Well, the thing is with the indie list is that it's the first game from that studio.
Yeah,
whereas it's technically Slow Clap's second game. But I can't remember. We'll go on further in here to see if it's in action, because I feel like it would almost deserve more of a slot in the action space. Yeah. Role playing. I'm sorry, rest of category, that you have to go up against Elden Ring.
Yeah, bud.
Like, I'm sorry. You're gonna lose.
Yeah, just seeing the words role playing, I was like, Elden Ring, I made 5 characters.
You made 5
I role played 5
characters.
I put over 300 hours into the game.
You can have a unique experience with every single one because of all the different quest lines and all the different endings that the game has. So you get to role play down to the line of, I want this person to be this, and choose these dialogue options in this situation. Like, I'm sorry, rest of cast, but you came out at the wrong year.
Yeah, there might be other categories where Elden Ring might not be the best choice, but like right here, it's undisputable to me.
Yeah.
Like nothing comes close.
Done deal. Action adventure. This is where Sifu should be, I believe.
I think so.
I think it should be like the 6th tile here.
Robbed.
What do you pick here?
I went with Plague Tale. I mean, it's just.
You went with Plague Tale? Really? Okay.
The last
Tell
one
me more.
In 2019. The last game just came out of nowhere, and it was like we had no idea what it was. It was a Sobo studio, which also did Flight Sim 2020, and it's just a game about a rat plague. It plays a lot like The Last of Us in terms of like stealth. You've got 2 characters that you're managing. So you're Amicia, and you have Hugo, her little brother, and you're just sort of like taking care of him, helping him survive during this rat plague. There's like medieval guards that are coming after you. It's just the perfect like narrative, single player, just one playthrough. There's no patches, no halfway done game. Like, it's just such a great experience. So that's really good, and it got my vote. And I know God of War is great, and Forbidden West came out alongside Elden Ring, and Elden Ring just took me by storm. I was like, I need to explore everything in this world. Forbidden West was like, you need to explore everything in our world, but like you also need to kill every creature to craft a bigger quiver. And it was like, it was busy work. It's another Ubisoft feeling, like Assassin's Creed, where it's like,
which hurts, because god damn it, original Horizon was so much fun.
Well, and this one is too. It really is.
And I didn't almost mind the busy work of doing it in Horizon 1.
It worked.
Because it was just kind of part of the first experience. It was naturally exploring like what creatures live in this zone. Okay, they're like this. Their weak points are here and here. If you crack open their weak points, you get these materials, and you're learning more about this environment, what's going on there. Yeah.
For part 2, it felt like busy work to me.
I still want to play it at some point.
Too.
Again, locked to the PS5, and I still need to figure out how to get one.
Well, they'll bring it to PC.
And that's the thing, is like, do I just wait the long game and wait for it to come over?
They're doing a year after release on most of them.
Yeah.
And I will say Tunic has some nostalgia, some Zelda nostalgia. And the pause menu is an instruction booklet of like a classic Super Nintendo game. And you gradually add pages to it as you get further in the game.
And
so
I've heard that Tunic has a real emphasis on learning the language of the game. Like, it has this hidden language that it slowly teaches it to you.
There is, yeah. And it's a great playing game. It's kind of a Souls-like as well. Like, you have to go to little bonfires or whatever to sort of reset the area.
Of this list, I personally have not played any of these, but the one I've watched the most of is Ragnarok. I'm going to be very, like, I don't want to say anything about it because you need to experience this game for yourself.
Agreed.
Because I am very happy with what Sony Santa Monica accomplished so far. And I haven't seen the entire playthrough of the game that I've been watching. So I would personally vote Ragnarok, but I really like your pitch for Plague Tale. I'll be interested to see if it has a potential to win. Yeah. Let's see what's next. So this is so it is here. Okay, good. It is. I was hoping that it was going to be nominated in at least action. This is another tricky one as well.
All different games
with different styles of action. Because you've got co-op action that is focused on like enjoying the Turtles franchise. You've got a very core like emotional story about one person against the world and all these different fighting masters.
And it's a roguelike experience.
Yeah. Neon White, I've heard, is very well tuned to like, hey, run the thing and like get your percentages down to being very, very tight, very precise. I personally have not heard a ton about like what Bayonetta 3 is overall in terms of content wise. I kind of got a little turned off by it, by the whole voice acting thing that became really confusing.
That got really
time went on,
nasty and personal, and it was like, who's the bad guy here? Like, man, maybe like everybody.
Just like, okay, is everybody just like, is there? I don't know what's going on here. I have watched. Have you finished Modern 2's campaign yet, Aaron?
Yeah.
Isn't it like a great campaign?
It is one of the best campaigns we've ever had. Like, it's so personal and it's so good.
And it's one of those things of like, hey, they didn't just kind of spiritually remake 2's campaign again.
Yeah.
It has like, there are pieces from like 2 and there's some stuff at the end that showcases what the future is going to be like. But it's just like, hey, this is a very different game. Most of it's going to take place in Mexico and involve these new characters who I think are really good additions to the overall canon.
I love every character.
Like, Alejandro's so cool.
I had a man crush on him the whole game. I was like, God damn, he's so hot. Cover me.
And like the mission where you have Ghost and Soap talking to each other as you're slowly moving through the city, and just the banter back and forth. It's just like, it is. I'd say Modern 2, but that's my personal choice. What would you say, Aaron?
Yeah, I think so, because it's a big innovation over what we've had. And it's a coming home for the Call of Duty franchise. Everybody wanted to get back to the Modern Warfare stuff. And they did the World War II, they did the space stuff, and the jetpacks and the wall running, and like, no, let's get boots on the ground. And they did it well.
Yes.
And not only that, we have Warzone 2.0, which is a whole new approach at their Warzone stuff. It's completely different from how they engineered the first one. Then they have DMZ, which is the answer to Tarkov, Escape from Tarkov.
Oh, is
DMZ
it?
mode.
Ooh.
Is like, go in there, you're a squad, and you do missions for different factions, and you loot what you get in there. There's AI to fight. There's other players to fight, but you can also team up with players while you're in there. You can form alliances and say like, hey, we need to team up because like, look, there's a bunch of AI guarding this base and we have an objective. And so it's better if we work together. So pretty cool.
Damn. Because that's tempting because I've watched chunks of Tarkov and it's like, this looks really cool.
It is.
I've also heard this game is really painful to play.
It's hard and it's rough. And so Call of Duty makes it fun. Call of Duty makes it fun and approachable, whereas, you know, Tarkov is a hardcore, like, simulator. And you have really good PC players in there.
Oh, that will destroy you.
Yeah. You think you're cute, you go in with your best gear that you spent hundreds of hours trying to get.
Suddenly 4 fucking 7.62 rounds
fucking
exploded your head.
Yeah, I've had it happen. I've gone into a match and died immediately as soon as I get in. And I was so proud of the weapons I had, and I got shot. That's it.
VR AR.
Oh, J-Star, if you're still here, let us know if you've played any of these. J-Star is a bit of a live streamer on Twitch that does a lot of VR. Yeah.
Awesome.
What are we looking at here?
PSVR is in my box right now. I haven't pulled it. It's gathering dust because they're going to release the new headset for the 5, which is just going to be overall better. I really like VR games. The time I've spent with the couple that I've played were a lot of fun. I'm super happy that Moss got a sequel. I think Moss was a super cool idea of how to do a VR game where it feels like a storybook where you are the overseer watching the play take place, but you're also guiding the mouse around and helping it do various adventure things. So I'm super happy that Moss got a sequel, Moss got a sequel.
Yeah, Moss.
Awesome. I've heard that After the Fall is good.
Look at some video on it.
Like any of it. I think I have it wish listed.
Because it looks clean, and that's J-Star's vote is right there. But he says I play them all. And of course, Among Us has a lot of hype, and I've seen footage of Among Us running in VR, and it does look, it's pretty scary.
It looks like people are having a lot of fun with it too, because you get, it adds that personability of it's the same thing where Werewolf is way more fun to play with people around a table rather than in a simulator.
Yeah.
So they're saying it's VR's Left 4 Dead, which is not a bad way to sell a game.
There's big words, yeah.
But it
does look so clean.
This looks pretty nice. Your different and customization on your guns, and a very grungy aesthetic as well.
I would play this if I had VR. That would be on my list.
This looks nice. And it the biggest thing I have with VR stuff, especially VR shooters, is how does locomotion and movement work? Because if you can get that part correct and make it feel good and not have your user throw up in the headset, you've achieved what you want to do.
And some of those have been on rails shooters, whereas now we're starting to see some where you have full control of your character, which is
yeah, that looks pretty good. I think I'll give it to After the Fall of that set.
Absolutely.
What do we got next? Innovation in accessibility. So, I think the only one that I know about in terms of what accessibility was available is the accessibility options in Ragnarok, which there's a decent set of various supports for different capabilities, and also a bunch of stuff about how you actually play the game in terms of hey, if this prompt is generally a mashing prompt, how are you going to handle that if someone doesn't want to mash or is incapable of continuously pressing the button? It's just okay, you can press and hold it, or you can do this. You can have auto pickup on items, so you don't have to constantly be thinking about, oh, there's that health gem over there. I need to go get it. I should get it. So yeah, I've heard that that's pretty good. Do you know anything about the accessibility stuff for The Last of Us Part 1 piece?
Yeah, they once again, it's pretty in line with Ragnarok. It's hard to pick between the two, but it's got all the stuff from Last of Us Part 2 and Uncharted 4, you know, where they just continually keep adding stuff. There's a lot of stuff for people that are hard of hearing, people that are different levels of blindness. You know, they can sort of highlight characters in different colors, like the good guys in blue, the bad guys in red, stuff like that. And you can tailor that as needed. You can set like the direction of who's speaking to you. You could see that. Different colors for the speakers and the subtitles. You know, just all sorts of stuff like that, which I think God of War has also worked into their thing. So I've heard good things between the both of those. Those are the only two that I've played. So I know those have really good accessibility settings. I'd say one of those gets the cake.
I'd love to look up I might do it in post of like what accessibility the Quarry added, because Supermassive is very much like telling you a story. Like you are very much watching a movie and making choices along with it. It's very much you are having a fun movie experience. It's also one of those games that are really easy to play with people who are not traditionally gamers, where it's just like, hey, let's go on a fun experience and make some choices and meet some fun characters. So I'd be interested to see what additional accessibility options they added to the Quarry.
So just a quick thing is they have the hold toggle and auto for quick time events, aim assist for combat, subtitle customization, dyslexic font is available. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Mouse and keyboard remapping. Yeah, there you go.
Very nice. I think Last of Us, has good contention to get that one.
Yeah, that's who I voted for. I spent a lot of time in their settings. They also their brightness settings are really good, because they'll show you an image at nighttime, daytime, and then they'll show you like one where it's like snowing, where everything's like super bright.
Right,
so you get the perfect spectrum to set your brightness, and you won't have to toggle it as soon as you get somewhere else.
All right, let's talk best community support. So recognizing a game with outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, including social media activity, game updates, and patches, with the options of Apex, Destiny 2, FF14, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky. What do you think, Aaron?
I have to say, they are all doing a great job at adding content regularly, keeping up with their communities. No Man's Sky made the big pivot. I'm still biased. Destiny 2 all the way. They're literally putting shit out on a weekly basis now.
That's crazy.
There's seasonal stuff to do every week, and little cutscenes and whatnot to unlock, and new weapons to chase. And they're always doing their developer diaries and tweeting, and you know, they have their blog This Week at Bungie every Thursday. I know they had the harassment this year, so they had to kind of tone it down a little bit. They had to kind of quit talking to the community for a while, because when they made some changes with weapons and stuff like that, you know, there were like threats to the devs, and that was just uncalled for.
God, people get so bent out of shape as soon as you touch their goddamn sliders around weapons. Like, oh Jesus, people. It's just like, we get it. You love this gun and you love how overpowered it is. And suddenly somebody takes away your goddamn toy and you want to firebomb their house.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's how bad it goes.
Calm down. Of this selection, I will personally, it's actually between two for me.
Yeah.
It's between No Man's Sky, which has been the support that Hello Games has done for that game is astonishing, where it's just like, you could stop. Like,
they could have stopped. Believe
you're
me.
Done. You've hit every checkbox of what was initially promised when the game released so many years ago, and they keep adding more stuff. And I'm like, you did it. Like, Sean, you can go to bed now. You don't have to keep working.
You could work on the next game or something else.
You can do another game now. Like,
I think they're gonna ride it out, man.
Like, the game is great. Like, I don't play it as much anymore, but like every time there's a new update, I will play for like a week or so straight, and I'm talking like 4 or 5 hour sessions of like, oh my god, there's so much stuff I could do. There is so much, like, I can search for new ships, I can do this, I can do that, and it's just like my brain cannot keep up with how much stuff there is that they add in those patches.
It's amazing.
The reason I have Fortnite on there, because I checked it. Zero Build came out in March, and Zero Build is the best addition to Fortnite, period.
Yeah.
Because I like Fortnite's gameplay and gunplay so much. I think it is so much fun to play, and it is a battle royale game where I do not feel stressed. Like Apex, I don't like playing Apex anymore because of how sweaty Apex is. I'm like, I just want to have fun with my friends. That's what I want to do in a battle royale. And Fortnite Zero Build delivers that, where it's just like, I don't have to think about if I hit somebody with a sniper rifle from a kilometer out that they suddenly build a hotel, and I'm like, well, I can't.
You tried.
My fingers don't move that fast to build. I'm sorry. Like,
yeah,
my hand-eye is gone, man. I can't do it. So, yeah, I would say No Man's Sky, but I can see, honestly, I can see any of these getting, like, I can see any of these games getting this award, because I think they've all, as you said, they've all done a really good job of adding stuff to their game throughout. Oh my god, if Diablo Immortal wins Best Mobile Game, I will literally break something on stream.
So didn't it get shit on when it came out? Yeah.
Oh, do you know the price of what it takes to max out a character in that game?
Was it 20 grand or 200?
20 grand.
Okay, 20 grand.
I'm pretty sure it's 20 grand. And that's like a single character with certain specific like limits on it. Right. Oh my god, if Immortal wins, I'm gonna lose it.
I haven't played any of these on mobile.
I've heard Marvel Snap is fun.
I have.
Because it's very much like zeroed down to, hey, game's free, all the core playing of the game is completely free, and you can just play how you want. If you want fancier hats for your Iron Man, you can spend some money, but completely hands off in terms of that.
And it was pay to win to start, but then after the outrage, they complete 180 with their microtransactions.
That one back.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I think of this set, I would say Marvel Snap, because Immortal 20 grand, Genshin Impact potentially unlimited money because you're rolling in a gacha system.
You are.
Tower of Fantasy is also a gacha system where you're rolling. Apex Legends, I think, probably just plays better on consoles and PCs.
Yeah.
So, by process of elimination, Marvel Snap.
Yeah.
What do we got? Indie.
Ooh, okay.
So this is you're actually correct. This is Sifu shows up again here.
But we also get Cult of the Lamb. This is the first nod.
Also get Cult of the Lamb.
The game that took Twitch by storm. I mean, everybody.
Oh my god, people. Well, because of building interactivity with your community into your game and letting that build on the story and the role-playing aspect of the game. Like having one of your core people who shows up in, like, is part of, who loves being part of your community, be a literal character in the game.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Like, that's how you do integration.
That one, and J-Star says that one as well. I think that one's just the most. Yeah, because like that had staying power, whereas like Stray was good when it first came out. Tunic, I feel didn't really catch on the way it should have, but like it didn't catch the world on fire. And Sifu was like really difficult, so like there was obviously a bit of a difficulty gap there, and they did add easy mode.
There's a particular niche there of like, hey, this game is meant to difficult. Be hard. And like even the future stuff that they added, when they added that easy mode, they also went, also here's the mode for if you hate yourself.
Yeah, they added an even harder mode. Which
even harder.
The game is hard as is. Shit, it's punishing.
And then people start making videos of like, oh yeah, beating the game without aging.
Yeah.
Just gonna do it.
Yeah, because every time you get a game over, you age. So doing it, completing the game while you're still a young character is pretty dope.
Like I'm still waiting for beat Sifu no aging on a dance pad with the Donkey Kong bongos.
Well, I kind of want to see the old build as well. I want to see someone do it as an old.
Yeah, max out your age and then complete the game.
Because it changes the way you play the game.
Yeah. I think Stray's probably gonna win because I think Blue 12 knocked it out of the park with their I think they should win for initial release, like just like brand new on the scene, because it was such like a cool thing. I think in tune with for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publishing system.
Yeah.
I think Tunic, because Tunic didn't get the same level of press as most of these games.
Like, yeah, Annapurna is huge, you know?
2 trailers for Tunic, period. Across its entire like inception. And I think that is the spirit of the independent. It's just like, all right, we only have enough money for this amount of marketing budget. Everything else goes into making game fun.
And then it got on Game Pass. And I think it really wouldn't have had much steam if that hadn't happened.
Ongoing game. Awarded to a game for outstanding development or of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Now, this is one where I want to add an asterisk of what game would you add to this nomination list, Aaron? Would you add Avengers to this list?
Avengers is too struggling to be on the list. They're still trying to figure shit out. I love Avengers, but man, they're a long way from getting their No Man's Sky moment here.
Okay. The one that I would add here is Conan Exiles.
Yeah.
I think the new addition of the sorcery system to the game, and then they're working on chapter 2 of the sorcery system soon after, is really coming along. And this is where I get to also say that when you let people mod your game, that increases the lifespan of your game.
True.
Modded Conan is so much more than what the base game delivers. I've been playing on a modded server the past couple like week or so, and it's been so much fun because of the role-playing additions that mods can add, where suddenly everybody stops playing Conan like it's a survival game and starts playing it like it's a 24/7 D&D session where everybody's in character and like you are on. And it's just like, wow, this is what this game can do.
Yeah.
Of this set, I'd say Fortnite. I had a lot of fun.
Well, and they're really adding so much.
This was the year that I had so much fun with Fortnite. And it's just like, I thought I would hate this game forever. I thought that like there's no way like this is a game for kids. Like I'm never gonna. And then I start playing, and it's like, wow, I get why people play this game. This is really fun.
They added Spider-Man who can web swing, and they've added like every superhero. Indiana Jones is in there. I mean, Evil Dead, Ash from Evil Dead's in there. I mean, just everything pop culture icons.
How do you do clash like art styles from different stuff, but still make it work within Fortnite's overall aesthetic? True. Like the new Battle Pass system, the last tier is Spider-Gwen from Spider-Verse.
Oh, wow.
Her model looks great.
Yeah. That's so cool. And here's the other thing. Call of Duty, including a third-person mode, even in their Warzone, really shows that Fortnite has taken the world by storm. And if you want to innovate and keep up with them, you need that sort of...
And here's the thing. Third-person games lead to people wanting to spend money on skins because you can see your skin.
Yes,
you can see the costume you put on your character.
And I love third-person Call of Duty is dope. It's really fun, and I think for the Battle Royale mode, I could relax a little bit.
That's going to be fun.
Breathe a little bit. Whereas first-person just seems like ultra immersive and competitive and fierce. It's like, man, maybe you just want to lean back and have a good game.
Games for impact. For a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. This is always an interesting category I find every year because there are so many games in this sector that are super cool, but I don't think I've ever really played any of them. Like, across this entire, again, this is a category that has 6. I don't know any of these games. I think I've heard of Extinction is Forever. I believe it's a game where you it's a very environmental focused game. I kind of want to see what the heck City Sleeper is.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
A citizen.
Memoir Blue is about a mother-daughter relationship and 3D art, hand-drawn. Pretty dope.
We have Role-Playing in the Ruins of Interplanetary Capitalism. Live the life of an escaped worker washed up on a lawless station at the edge of an interstellar social. Inspired by flexibility and freedom of tabletop RPGs, explore the station, choose your friends, escape past, and change your future. Okay, this looks really cool.
That seems right up your alley.
Hey, Katie. Yeah, no, this... Katie. Oh, this is... This is hitting some real interesting...
1999.
I like the style. Like, I'm a really big fan of the way the art looks. And that aesthetic of like getting to know people around the station and like building relationships is really, that's pretty interesting. And especially that like this, what I would describe as the capitalistic apocalypse future is an interesting concept to me. Because that's a big theme in Cyberpunk as well. And Cyberpunk did a really good job of highlighting how you tell that story. And it looks like Citizen Sleeper does a good job of telling its own change upon that. So of those, that's the one that looks the most interesting to me. And it's one of those things where you run into some of these where I might identify and find one of them, like Citizen Sleeper, more interesting, but the story and the overall message of another one might be like you accessing, you go, ow, that hurt my soul, because wow, that cuts deep.
I think Stray kind of hits you that way a little bit. Flower was a big one. Environmental message behind that. Dusk Falls is really, I don't know what the message is, but like it's like it was like 6 or 8 players, and you can all control it via your phone or your controller or whatever, and it's just a story that plays out. It's one of those like narrative based games, kind of like you know, Ori and all those others, but this one's sort of got the hand drawn characters and whatnot, and you're making choices as each of the characters. So that one's a pretty cool one. But yeah, some of these others I do not know a lot about, but I'm putting them on the list.
Okay.
Woo!
Best performance. You go ahead, Aaron, because I have a thought of who I
know
want.
You have a thought, yeah. I got a thought.
Who do you think of this set?
So let's see. Ashley Birch, really great as Aloy. Charlotte, I believe, is that her name? She is Amicia in Plague Tale Requiem, and that game has some really good audio. Like, she'll whisper whenever they're sneaking around to her little brother. She does kind of have that like French accent as well, which is perfect. You got Christopher Judge on God of War. He's also Black Panther on Avengers. I think he's gonna win it, absolutely. But I do wanna, I wanna give Charlotte her stars. I mean, I think she deserves it. She put out a really good, unique performance on that.
I'm not familiar with Immortality and Miss Gage's performance. We're looking at the Game Awards for this year, Katie, which is I like to describe it as the Oscars for games. Presently, we're looking at the category for best performance. So who played their character really well in terms of both voice acting and the at times motion capture perspective, because I know that Christopher Judge and Sunny both were in full mocap suits performing their respective characters in God of War in the full cutscenes. Of these, I want to give it to Sunny, because I think that his performance in the new God of War game, and again, this is one of those things where you gotta either play it or watch this game, he does an amazing job. And it's one of those things where it's just like, this kid's got potential. This guy's gonna go places. Like, he did a good job in the first God of War, but the transition and how much more he's given it in this new game, he's put in the work. He's put in the time to show that he wants to be a part of this this series of stuff. J-Star agrees? Okay. Yeah, I'd personally vote Sunny. I agree with you, Aaron, that quite possibly Christopher Judge is going to win this, because his performance as Kratos is really good. And there's a lot of stuff that I'm not going to talk about, because you really need to play that game.
Yeah, I'm only 2 or 3 hours in. I got to hit it.
Yeah. So I'll be interested to see what happens there. Okay, audio design. Recognition for the best in-game audio and sound design. So this is just, how does the game sound and feel when the environment sounds of the weapons, all that kind of stuff. Not music, because music's a different category.
Yeah.
We got Modern 2, Elden Ring, Ragnarok, GT7, and Forbidden West. Oof.
Yeah, big oof here.
Tough list.
So Call of Duty, the boots on the ground, the guns reloading, clips, the slides on the guns. even just sliding characters mixed in with gunfire. I mean, everything makes you feel like you're there. And when you got your headphones on, you really are in a war zone. So I gotta give it to him there, but can we think about Elden Ring and like what about that experience made its audio design? Because we can't say the soundtrack, which is like,
because that's a different category. That's music. That's a different category. But the sound of a boss crumple in Elden Ring, where it crumples and you can walk in for that riposte. Yeah. Oh, that's the best sound in the world. Because the genuine grin you have across your face is like, yes.
There is a lot of sword clanging and shields and deflections and all that stuff. When you and they made that easier in this game than the parry system in the Souls 1 through 3.
And that doesn't even talk about all the spell effects. Like, think about Poldiasex, the dragon with the 2 heads that has the gold fire.
Yeah.
Like the sound of him charging up into the laser form and cutting the stage apart, or when he brings out the stake with the lightning effect on it and then crushes it into the ground for the nuke. There's some real good ones. Jace Star says Horizon.
Ooh, okay. Controller for the PS5. Yeah, you got to think about that as well. You're getting a lot of audio that's coming through the controller to immerse you in the game.
And I imagine that Horizon did a good job, just like the first game, of like making each mechanical beast sound unique and interesting, and just like you can hear that sound and instantly you identify, oh, that's what that is. I know what that is. And get ready for what that battle is going to be like.
And Ragnarok's got good audio as well. I mean, like it's even just outside of music, like just throwing the axe, calling it back, feeling it hit the palm of his hand.
Flick on the blades of chaos when you light somebody up. That pop when you pop Spartan Rage. Yeah. Personally, I think I'd give it to Modern 2. I think the audio team did a really good job of making all the weapons and whatnot sound really good and really realistic and flow all together. Yeah, I'd personally give it to Modern 2, but I think there's a pretty good choice for almost all of these. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good.
Honestly, the audio is what keeps me playing Modern Warfare. I'm addicted to the sounds of the guns and the reloading and all of it.
All right. So here's the second part. Score and music.
And they put a straight up music game in there too, just to hit you.
They put Hellsinger, which I have in my Steam library. I still haven't cracked it open. Yeah. But even just playing the demo is just like, holy shit,
the music slaps.
And Hellsinger, you can stream the entirety of it, even though that it has licensed artists in it, because they own all the music, and they're like, here, you can stream it all. We're not going to copyright claim. Like, nobody's going to touch you. They know it's
the best promotion.
Just like, bam, that's how you do it.
Is people doing no-hit runs and stuff like that through the game, or perfect rhythm all the way through, or whatever.
Or having like various metal musicians, or like either independent artists or traditional artists, like play or react to the game and like, wow, this is cool. This is a new thing.
React content. Let's say have mods. They did a metal jazz singer mode where it was like all jazz tunes, and I was like, oh my God.
I'm so happy that they're embracing like modifying their game, which is again,
very odd.
Let people mod your games. It's such a great addition. J-Star says he has 90 hours in Elden Ring start menu. Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's start
what do you think,
slaps.
Aaron? Like, if, like, let's just focus on these three.
Yeah.
What's the best soundtrack out of these three?
So Plague Tale has some really good, like, Gregorian chant and stuff that gave me chills while I was playing.
Mm-hmm.
So it immerses you in that world. But Elden Ring has that theme. There's just so much music throughout the game.
Mm-hmm.
Just hits really well. And yeah, I mean, I hate to just let Elden Ring come in like Lord of the Rings Oscars and just like snag every award that they're nominated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's between one of the first two for me.
Yeah. I think Elden Ring will win this. I would also like to give not only contention to Hellsinger for like releasing and doing its thing, but again, much with everything else with it's just like, hey, Bear McQuarrie's back, and oh boy, he stepped his game up again.
Incredible.
He has the music at those emotional sting moments that just reaches in and grabs you by your heartstrings. Yeah, I'm going Elden Ring because and Elden Ring's tough because I don't love every track in the game. Like, there's a bunch of music in there where I'm like, that. But then I think about Radon, Mog, Radigan, Elden Beast. As much as I hate that fight, I love that piece of music. I think it is a beautiful piece. Like, there's stuff in there that is like, it's gonna stick with you. Art direction,
and this is where Scorn shows
creative, technical achievement, and arts animation. Yes, Scorn gets a spot. Again, this is tough because each of these does their art to their and helps build their world through that art really well. I think in terms of uniqueness, in like, it will never, I don't know if it will ever really leave my brain. And because it's probably not going to win like any other awards, I would give it to Scorn, just because of like sticking to your guns about like, this is our game. It's going to make you, it's going to have stuff that looks and makes you uncomfortable. And we are not going to pull our punches on this. We are going to deliver the game that we promised in terms of the visual aspect of this game. Like, if anything else, if you want to just wander around our game and look at the walls and have a good and like have
pretty sure Chris will do that
time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it would be cool if Scorn wins this.
Yeah, it would be cool.
I have a high likelihood that it will not.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that God of War and Elden Ring are just going to run away with a lot of these.
Yeah.
Narrative.
Ooh, shit.
So here's the thing. Like, it's part of what makes Elden Ring complicated, and it's part of what we brought up in the RPG section of like why it should win RPG, is that it's your story. It's your time in the Forgotten Lands and how you expressed and adventured through it and created your own story from that. Whereas all these other ones are like, these are really well told stories that have like a beautiful narrative to them, but they are very much, this is the story, you get to adventure through it. Whereas Elden Ring is about creating your own narrative. So there's a bit of a clash there, I find. What do you think, Aaron?
Yeah, and I think Elden Ring, to learn about the other characters and why all this stuff happened. I mean, it's like you got to play the whole game and immerse yourself in every moment, talk to every character, pick up every stupid note to understand who's who and who was together and whose son is this. And
then you cast a spell and suddenly the entire plot narrative of one main character completely shatters.
Yeah, like
fucking law regression, just changing narrative.
Dang. So like it's good, but it's like misunderstood. You know, people don't understand the Dark Souls method of storytelling, especially when you're holding it up against traditional narrative.
Yeah, and it's by design supposed to be obtuse and require you to sit there and look at things and go, okay, I think it means this, so it means this. Like, to understand, you've encountered throughout your playthroughs, you've encountered the ladies, the lady bats who sing, right?
Yeah.
2 days after people found that enemy, somebody had already translated what she's singing in Latin to English, and it's just like, this opens up an entire additional part of the story that unless you can translate Latin, you don't understand.
It's a lot of it is crowdsourced, the story. So you got to go on forums, you got to watch YouTube videos of someone explaining the entire history of Elden Ring, and George R.R. Martin writing a lot of that as well. So a lot to unpack. So I will say it is a really great narrative, and it deserves to be up there. But I went with Plague Tale on this one. But I know the top 3 there are just like, they're gonna be duking it out on every.
Oh, that's such because I can't imagine what it's like in the proper voting room of the round table discussion that you have to have, where you bring out the whiteboard and go, okay, here's why this one could win, but also here's why this one could win.
Yeah, and God of War is literally talking about the end times of Norse mythology. There's no bigger mythological thing to pull from.
Is like, and especially watching God of War instead of playing it, it is the most like, this is a multi-million-dollar movie that you're watching, but it takes course over like dozens of hours, and some parts of the narrative are only found when you're on the boat with the Atreus and just paddling around, and Mimir says something and you go, oh fuck, that's really important.
Yeah. You can't not pay attention for any part of that game. The idle dialogue is so key.
Yeah. So yeah, any of these 3 like are amazing. I'm personally gonna say Ragnarok. But yeah, I'm very interested to see what happens there.
Yeah.
Game direction.
5, all right. Creative
outstanding
vision
for vision and innovative game direction and design.
I gotta say, Elden Ring reinvented the wheel on this one for their franchise.
Again, you set a bar of like what fantasy open world adventure will feel like.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to like come to terms and fight uphill of like what that's gonna be like.
Yeah. What does Tears of the Kingdom do in response to Elden Ring? What does the next game by FromSoft do after Elden Ring?
Yeah.
You just go back to making little Dark Souls more linear experiences?
Well,
or do you
personally
you make everyone a knockout?
My thing of what I hope they do is that we get obviously DLCs for Elden Ring to add in the pieces that are not there, and a lot of the cut content that is in the files but was not directly released in the game. But then go somewhere else, do something different. If anything, and this is a very, very selfish personal thing, go back to Armored Core. take everything that you learned here and build an Armored Core game with that level of polish and like customization and all that interesting stuff, and then construct a narrative with that and build an Armored Core game. Now, that is a very personal choice, and there's going to be a lot of people who are just like, I don't want this. I just want new Dark Souls, please.
Sure.
So, yeah, I think I have to agree with you. It's like overall direction and like design.
Yeah, they reinvented
Elden Ring,
and they took this from being a niche genre to like they had people that play Zelda. They had people, this is their first Souls game, and they played it and loved it and beat it and succeeded in the game. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to play it.
That's everybody who's tried that out, because there, as you said, there's a lot of people where this is their first real jumping in point.
Yeah.
You've got, what is it? Demons, Dark 2, Dark 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro. You've got 6 other games that you can go play.
Yeah. People are going to go back and hit those up, you know?
Go.
I got to say, that one deserves it. Oh, boy.
The one. The Ender. Game of the year.
What do we got, chat? What's everybody saying?
The best experience across all creative and technical fields.
So Plague Tale for me was really great, and it's an incredible experience, but there was something about Elden Ring that pulled me in for 5 characters, 300 hours. I played it with every friend imaginable that had it. Played it with you, played it with Brittany. I mean, just, with J-Star as well. Absolutely incredible experience that we were all captivated. We were all hooked on it. We were like, what's going to happen next? Oh, don't tell me about this, but like, wait till I get through it. And we all talked about our experiences, and we learned stuff, and we played through it. I beat it twice on 2 different characters with different storylines, and there's still more we need to do, right? Because we discovered that nasty area where we were cursed. And I want to do a whole cursed run as well, you know? So there's a lot to explore there, and it really does dominate in every field. Every checkbox is there, and it innovates. It made a FromSoft game that was a little more approachable. It's not easy by any means, but it is the most approachable one that they've had. You know, you got checkpoints right outside the boss battles. That's key. You don't have to run through 10 minutes of enemies to get to the fight after you lose. So that makes the monotonous stuff of like, I lost. Okay, now I gotta run and get my soul.
Do the run back.
So, I mean, some of the features they made in there just to make it accessible a little easier. That new parry system that they have in the game was really great for me, especially coming hot off of Sekiro, where it's like you wanna deflect and parry everything.
Yep.
And so you come into Elden Ring, and it would have been really jarring if they just had Dark Souls 3 parrying, and I would have been destroyed by that. Go with the dragon that you 2 meanies left me on. Oh no! All right, I need to reinstall so we can help out Jason.
Like that's my thing with Elden Ring, is that like I've had it installed just in case I need, like, somebody calls me up and it's just like, hey, I've been playing it, I'm stuck, can you help? And it's just like, all right, I got you, here's the password, put it, and like transitioning the password system across so that you can play with each other at almost every point along the game.
Oh my gosh.
Even if I'm on New Game Plus 2 and Aaron's on New Game, we can still play with each other using the characters that we want to. I don't have to go build a whole new character and get up there. Build variety, and one of the things they've been doing in the post-launch content is reworking stuff to bring everything to a level playing field. I started playing the game again with using a Colossal Greatsword. Wow, they really tuned that up, and Colossal Greatsword seems way more possible and viable. It's not just like, because I leaned on my goddamn blood build for an eternity until they finally took it away from me. It's like, stop it.
Same with the
you can't just one phase Moog. That's not allowed.
On the freaking katana too, the Moonblade or whatever.
So yeah. Yeah, Elden Ring's game of the year. I'm sorry. Like, a lot of these other games are really great and have awesome things. But personally, Elden Ring's game of the year. Like, what are you going to do? It's awesome.
Yeah. Delivers on every level. Infinite replayability for me.
Exactly. So to close out, I want to play a little bit of betting on what, because one of the other things that's awesome about the Game Awards is all the announcements that come along with it. All the little trailers that get shown off and all the like shadow drops of like, oh yeah, it's out in 2 months. Here you go. I want to put some bets down of what we might see.
Okay.
And I want your thoughts on this. So, my thoughts of what we might see is I think there is a chance that we get to see an Elden Ring DLC.
Yeah.
That they are far enough along that they will show us, here's the first piece of DLC that we're going to give this game. Because this game will, because of just due to sales figures alone, they're going to add DLC. There is no way that they won't, because what they can do is they can add DLC in chunks, and then later on they'll sell the complete edition again, which is base plus all DLCs, one package. Here you go.
It'll be big money, and people will jump back in and do a first playthrough just to get to the DLC or whatever has to be done. So it's like launching the game again.
I wonder if we are going to see Mr. Kojima come out on stage and talk about what he's been working on. Because he's been working on something. He's got something worked on. And I don't know if it's additional stuff for Death Stranding, or if it's something
allegedly
just
a Death Stranding
out of the
2
world.
is in the works, because Norman Reedus leaked it. That he was like already shooting
for it. I think we might see Mass Effect 4.
Yeah.
Because what was it, last year they showed basically the Normandy logo and said, yeah, we're working on it. Mm-hmm. It's coming eventually. And they've also got that other Dragon Age game that they've been holding back of like, we might be working on something, but we can't tell you anything. We'll show you a logo.
Yeah. That too.
Due to the inclusion of adaptation and also the popularity around it, I think we'll see maybe even just a little tease of a studio doing a movie or television project. I don't know what. Like, I'm racking my brain of what it could be. I don't know, but I think we might get game movie something. Yeah. There is also another one that I've thought about, is that Studio Unseen will finally talk about the game that they're working on. So, for context, Studio Unseen, or just Unseen, is a studio built from the lady who... Do you remember when Ghostwire Tokyo got announced?
Yeah.
And the lady came on stage and she announced the game, and like she was very like excited and entertaining, and like all the further press is just like, yeah, not only is she like a fun stage presence, she knows her shit, and like she's been part of the crew, like worked on both Evil Within games, worked on Bayonetta, like she knows how to do stuff. And then she ended up leaving Grasshopper to go do stuff. She built her own studio, and they're working on a horror game.
I like it.
and like, hey, here's the time to experiment with new horror stuff, because all the greats are in pretty good form. Like, we just came off Silent Hill having a really nice set of announcements. Resident Evil's getting like a remake of one of its best games, if not its best game. And people are very happy with 8. So I think it's time to like add some new blood and competition to that space. The final one I have here is complete nonsense, and it's never going to happen, but I'm still going to believe it will, is that we get Bloodborne on PC for Christmas.
How cool would that be?
It's never going to happen, but if they did it, literally their sales figures will jump like $10 million in a day.
Instantly.
Do you have any ideas of like what might get shared? Like, what is the most like out there random thing? It's just like shit. That's getting announced.
Injustice 3, I think that'd be wild. They might save that for Evo, but like that would be wild to see something like that at the game.
But we had it with MK11, where Boone came out on stage to like recognize a game, and then it's just like, oh, by the way, oops, sorry, it's there, and there's gonna be a beta, and because he likes to do that stuff. So Injustice 3 would be a one.
I want to see more of that Crimson Desert game. That's just kind of a.
Oh my god!
Remember they showed that like last year, and it looked gorgeous. Like a big RPG.
And that's
fantasy
and
game.
It's built by the Black Desert Studio, which I'm not big on some of their monetization stuff, but holy shit, their gameplay is really fun. So
yes, it is.
Used in a more focused system, could be really good.
I want to see Rocksteady's Suicide Squad game. I want to see what they're doing with that, because we haven't seen gameplay or anything since their trailer. Splinter Cell 20th anniversary. We know that remake is being done by Ubisoft Toronto. They did just drop some screenshots, so like I don't know if they'd have a trailer or a teaser at the very least by then. That would be cool. About what that is. Yeah, I think that's all my crazy like off the wall stuff. I know Sekiro, a sequel to Sekiro, is in the works. But I think Elden Ring DLC is more likely.
I think that's the
more
most
immediate
possible, and like would bring me a lot of joy.
And Bloodborne would just dominate. It would be so awesome. Like 60 FPS, PS5, PC.
Get it. Just
drop
do
it
it
everywhere.
You make like, why are they so afraid of making money?
Yeah. Not everyone has a PS4 anymore. It's starting to, people are starting to get
also,
the new
Bloodborne
stuff.
On PS4 is clunky as fuck at times. Like, it's slow. Like, I've watched some people who have basically jailbroken their PS4s to get access to modified Bloodborne runs where you randomize the location of enemies and bosses. Oof. The hoops you have to jump through to do it. And Sony don't like when you do it, so you can't really talk about it. But if you just put it on PC, people will literally mod it in a day.
Yeah.
I guarantee
we'll be ready.
The mods that you will get on day one, if it gets on PC, there will be 3. One that optimizes the textures, one that is a nude mod, and then one that is a 2B mod. Those are the pinnacles.
Oh my god. Yep. And you'll have Millennia in there too.
Oh god, just have you seen the modified version of Elden Ring where somebody coded it so that every single enemy in the game is Millennia?
That's crazy.
Like, every enemy, every boss is Millennia. And the hell that game becomes.
That's silly. I'll never get good at fighting her if that's what put me
All right. I think that's everything that I wanted to cover today. Thank you so much for joining me, Aaron. That was a lot of fun. Please.
Uh-oh. I lost you. Done now. Rose.
Everybody give... Hang on. Oh, OBS crashed. No.
Don't be weird. Come on. Yeah, I got you back here.
Yeah. Please support Aaron. Aaron is so close to 1,000. Get Aaron to 1,000 by the end of the year, please.
Please, we're trying.
Get him to 1,000. Like you put in so much work, man. Like you deserve 1,000. Let's get you 1,000.
In there. And
I have
ActingRelic's channel in there as well. Check the description. Comment if you have different choices about some of the picks here and stuff that got snubbed, left out. Let us know.
Yeah. And what are your predictions that are going to be announced in the Game Awards? Because it's a nebulous black hole. Anything can happen, but also nothing could happen.
That's very true.
We shall see.
Every year we get shocked by something.
Exactly.
So
there's always something out of left field that is just like, what?
Something we never considered. Yeah. Come out of the blue.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Thanks so much for hanging out. Have a good night.